Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the last Starship. We're on phase 9. I hope you're having a wonderful day today. Today, we're going to pick up pretty close to where we just left off. But it's been a while. I know. I'm sorry. My life's taking lots of different twists and turns in real life, and I'm pretty much just overloaded. I guess just too much going on. It happens. I'm going to delete all these because I don't think we need these storage. That one can stay, actually. I need to clear this area out because we're going to be doing a lot of production and stuff in here. And I think I'm done jumping for now, too. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of all of that and then get rid of the storage there, too. So, yeah, I'm going to have to move and have general storage in a lot of places that I don't like. This ship is just super bogged down. So let's just go ahead and do this. At least to there, let's say. I'll put the little nook back there. We can get some storage right here. And we're going to break all this stuff down because today we're getting phase 9 going. So as a refresher to you and myself, phase 9 has charged crystals. These are being taken care of by the jumper ship. We don't have to worry about these. So we're focused here on warp alignment computers, okay? This is the most complicated thing we've seen so far. Now it's going to take Stargate receivers and neobidium capacitors. We are actually making these already, but we need to route the receivers a little bit because these are not the receivers. And I kind of thought they were, but they're not. These are not the receivers. These are the actuators. We need these Stargate receivers to be over here so we can produce things with them. And that's the general idea here. So what I'm going to need to do is going to have to move some things around. Now, there is a space. If I go to schematic mode, there's a space right through here. And I think it's time to embrace our inner spaghetti. I mean, we're already pretty spaghettified. We might as well just continue it, right? Might as well just keep on going. So I think I'm going to go with something like this. Let's take you away about here, let's say. Through like this. Then we're going to... Oh, I need to make tracks. Let me come over here to our assembly table right here. This is currently making smart robot arms. We don't need that many smart robot arms. Let's make tracks instead, please. There we go. Okay, so the tracks over here, we just broke these down, and what I want to do is install them a little bit differently. We're going to install them like that, and then like that, and then like that. So we're just going to end up zigzagging a little bit here, okay? And by doing that, it opens up a space here where I can place another set of tracks. So I can go in, for example, have a track that goes through here, right? Comes out this side, okay? And then I'll be able to jump like so. All right, that's the idea anyway, is to jump that. And then we'll have to see how these Stargate receivers and where they end up going, because this is kind of just sitting here in the open, and that's no good. It's kind of in the way. There's no tracks here or here. It's just these products are here. So maybe they will get them out of the way eventually. These are where the receivers are. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put a storage crate in the center here. Because, you know, another buffer storage, why not? And it means I don't have to use the tracks and stuff for that. I will need to use a track for something, though. So let's say I want to go with the regular robot arm. Yes. And we'll place the regular robot arm, let's say, here. And then another one can be placed, looks like here. Yes, that's fine. Okay, so we'll do something like that. Right. And in which case, then we will need to have a track located here, so everything will work itself out on that side. Of course, this item needs to be taken off the track, though. Okay, so now what we have is a separate track that comes out this way and comes between this gap here, and it ends up over here. And this is going to be where our actuators are. So this is going to be for the actuators. No, receivers. Stop it. Stargate receivers, there it is. And then we want to go ahead and have these hooked up to power, of course. We'll just go all the way across there. And then on this side, let's go back to our schematic mode so we can see. On this side, I want to have the track just kind of stop here, I suppose. So it needs to basically end here. Yep. And so we will just have short robot arms are fine. Just go ahead and have it dragged in like so. And so what that will do is it will allow us to have the actuators be pulled out of storage, and then they'll be brought here where it can be lifted up, dropped into here, and then lifted out and popped onto this track. So there's our receivers right there. Okay. Receivers are going to meet up here because this is where neodymium capacitors are located as well. So both of these two resources are together. We need that because eventually they will both go together into an assembly table to create our final product, which is the warp alignment computer. Now, the third one is what we're going to spend the bulk of our day on today. That's the quantum compute grid. Quantum compute grid has two components, two intermediate components, which are in and of themselves comprised of intermediate components. We need to get down to the quantum wafer level here. That's where precious metals and Tilium crystals are. They go to fabricator to make the wafers. Wafers then combine with the Metreon in a chemical lab to create the processors. And then the processors combine with the compute grid to make the quantum compute grid, which then, of course, then goes into this. So it's a much more complicated system than we had before. And then the empty compute grid is just two raw resources in here. So this part's very easy. And so we want to focus pretty much all of our time is going to be on the quantum processors. So let's start with that. Quantum processors will go all the way down to the quantum wafer level here. We need precious metals and Tilium crystals. All right. So over here, we're going to have a production line for both of these things. I've got Tilium crystals going through into these storages here. I don't really need this many storages. I have so many storages as is. And then we have multiple lines. You'll see that we have these extra tracks right here. And I'm trying to break everything down and get it out of the way because I'm going to need this extra space. But there's just not enough space for everything. So I might want to just sell. I don't really want to sell crystals, but I kind of feel like I'm going to have to here in a second. Let's sell a bunch of these. How many arms do we have right now? We have 28 short robot arms, 10 smart ones. We don't really need a whole lot of smart ones. There's 132 tracks. You know, as we build track, it'll open up storage space for everything else. I think that's how we're going to do it. Okay. So we have this thing, and I know a lot of people are going to think this is probably a dumb idea, and I agree. It's not a great idea, but I'm near the end of this challenge. The series has been going on a while, and I've got other things to do, okay? So I could spend many hours making this super straight lines and refined, and yeah, I'm not. I'm gonna stick with the spaghetti. It's just more worth my time. So what I want to do here is create a loop. Same thing I did over here, create a loop. This is to help, not completely prevent, but it's to help the line so that it doesn't get completely bogged down. And there are still isotopes finding their way over here, even though I have 3 arms dedicated to pulling them off. Still happening. Okay. So for the wafers, let's start filtering here first, right? So we need to get our tracks going. And I think I'm going to go ahead and have them be, let's go... struggling with this. If I go 3 wide, then we end up with extra space used, and I don't try to limit how much space I'm using. Why don't we try this? 3 wide here gives me a storage right here, which is not a bad idea. So maybe the storage could be right there. So 3 wide plus here. So maybe we could try it here. So something like this comes all the way over. And we could even bring it all the way out this way and maybe even have it loop, say, starting here or something. There's some random spot that we have it start a loop, okay? And so at that point where it's looping, first off, it needs to be this way. At the point where it's looping, we want to have the storage turn. And then we're going to delete this one and this one too, okay? So these two tracks are going away. And then the loop will begin like so. All right, these resources can now go in a loop, and this is going to help us with filtering things so that the line doesn't get super crowded and so that the precious metals and copper doesn't end up going too far and end up on this belt line, okay? All right, the next thing then is we need our filtering, and the filtering can happen with smart arms right here. I'm going to have one there, and this is going to help us in just pulling the Tilium ore off of this loop from this point and sticking it here as it's necessary or as it's needed, okay? So we had that filter. Now I could put an extra small storage right here, and I'm tempted to, but I just feel like I have enough buffer storage for Tilium ore already. Okay, here and here is buffering, here is buffering already. So if this thing is full, I feel like it's just not that big of a deal. But if I need it later, It's not hard to delete it and make it happen, okay? All right, let's get some power hooked up through here. So we'll have power like that, and then it comes all the way over like so. Okay, should be good on power there. All right, so the next thing is, how do we get the metals off of this belt, right? That's our next thing. These need to be configured as well, which they won't be because I can't click, because this game has got a really, really wonky UI, and you just can barely click anything. Right there. You have to get them in there. Tilium. And almost. Nope. Right. Where is it? No. No. Oh, right there. And nope. Tilium ore. There we go. Okay. Tilium ore. So now as the stuff comes off this belt, as an example, we'll just go ahead and do this. Now it will pull the tilium ore off of that belt, and so it gets filtered out really quickly. And then there's two arms doing it, each hitting in their own little side here, so it's a little bit more effective. Okay. So now the other resources, right? Well, I want precious ore to come down this way, I think. So we're going to say that the tracks are going to bring it this direction. And I need to be careful that we don't go too far here. And so, because this thing is stopping right there. It's facing that way. So I think one thing I need to do right now to prevent this from being a problem in the future is just turn that track to where it's facing that direction. And then I'm going to turn this track to face this direction. And I think that will probably fix the problem. We can test that out just by letting it build and making sure that the tilium ore stops here and that nothing else is in the way there. Okay, looks like it's pretty good. So this is where the precious ore is going to come around. And so to get the precious ore onto this track here, we're going to need I think a small buffer storage is probably ideal here. I'm trying to move these things out of the way because they are going to be in the way if I don't. So let's say precious ores can be... I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to get copper to do it too. Copper needs to come through here too. I don't know the copper workflow yet, but part of me actually doesn't even want to use these buffer storages here because it's just not a lot of room, right? And I can make the ship bigger, yes. So I just don't want to. I'm trying to make it work with what I got. I can make it bigger. I mean, to be honest, we don't even need to do this. I mean, let's just be clear here. I could just place the production equipment down, set the formulas, and let people manually bring them to the machines. And we would have enough to make the Stargate project. We don't even have to use the tracks. But I'm trying to use the tracks. I'm trying to make it work. And I don't need it to work super efficiently, but I would like to at least get it to where there's some automation involved in this process. I would really like these out of the way so I can see how much room I'm going to have. I guess just using schematic mode is the way to go. So eventually they're going to get these ingots out of the way. Maybe I have another storage crate. Yeah, let's put this one down. I can just stuff it here, I guess. It doesn't look good there, but I can use it. I can stuff it there. Except I can't highlight... Oh, there it is, right there. And then I want to make this be the neobidium ingots there. Okay, so hopefully now they will move things out of these storages. Crossing my fingers that that's the case, but you know, looks like they're going to take them out of the storage first too. And there's probably enough to fill that stupid storage up doing that too. Well, and then they can take them out of here and put them on the ground. So whatever, it's the same thing. Okay, so we can take our small storage crate, and this is supposed to be our buffer to bring in the precious ore is what this is for. But now I'm looking at this thinking maybe it should be for copper instead because copper is right here. No, I think we'll leave it the way it is. So we're gonna say that copper is brought out. I don't want to get in the way of those neobidium either. So let's bring it about here. And then we'll move it, let's say like this. Let's try it there. I don't know if this is a good spot or not, but we're going to try it there. And then we're going to put our short robot arms like this. So we'll put two of them right here. All right, for now. And then as the storage builds, we'll configure this for precious metals. There it is. And this will allow these two arms will then pull the precious metals off this belt. And now we have some kind of filtering for that resource. Unless, of course, all these guys decide to fill that storage up for me. But there we go. We're seeing it in action right there. Now, for the copper, this gets a little more confusing for me, actually. For the copper, we want a small storage crate. And I'm going to have to have it offset. It's going to have to be down more. So that's why I want these out of the way, because there's no room. It's going to have to be down more so that I can get the precious metals to move this direction from where they are. So the precious metals have to come back this way. So you are going to be here instead, I think, copper. And in this case, we're going to have a track that runs right along here. Yes, right along here, like so. And it's going to connect to that. So this track is going to come out from here. Yep, from here and like so. And I think that's going to have to do it for now. I'm leaving space here for manufacturing, okay? There's things I want to do in the space, but I just don't know if I'm going to have space for it. But if for some reason I want to move this over, and I may, then I can move this even further over. As I'm thinking about it right now, as I'm debating where I'm going to put my machines right at this very moment, I'm thinking, yes, I will put this over just a little bit more. So we will move this over, let's say, to here instead. Because you never know, you know? You just don't know. All right, short robot arms. No, small storage crate, yes. So I'm going to place this here instead. Because I think it's a little bit, just a little bit better. Yeah, right there. And then we use the same short robot arms to go and do it. So here and here, and then also here, and then also here. All right, that should take care of what I was looking to do here. I'll make sure this is precious metals. This one is going to be our copper ingots. All right, so for the time being, that takes care of our routing. We just need power now, but other than that, it takes care of our routing issues. Okay. Good. And then I guess it doesn't quite take care of it because we still need short robot arms. Long robot arms, or normal robot arms are needed for this so that we can get access over top of that belt. So we can go, like, say, here and here with it. And that should be all right. Yes. All right. So we can have the filters in place now. And we're seeing them in action right now as precious metals is getting routed down this belt. All right. This is probably not where I want this, but this is for my copper line. So I'm going to take a look at that. And maybe it'll work out okay. Maybe it's fine exactly the way it is. But I might need to move it. So on this side of things, what I'm going to do is this. We're going to take the precious ingots. We have all of our Tillium here. I do want the Tillium to tag up in the storage. In hindsight, storage should probably be moved up. I'm not going to bother with that because there's over 200 Tillium crystals here. There's like 1,000 on the ship. I just don't want to deal with them moving this in and out just to move these storages. I just don't want to. So we're going to change this up by going this way instead. We're going to bring this up alongside. Yep, like that. And we are going to end up having it right next to the other belt. Okay, so the Tillium crystals are going to go up like that. And then the precious metals are going to come down from this side like so. Okay. And probably about there is good. So let's get all of these tracks installed with the hope that that frees up enough space on the ground so that they can move other things that are on the ground out of the way. All right. And then these metal ingots need to be moved too, unfortunately. There we go. Okay. So that takes care of that. Now we want Tillium ore on this belt. So let's take and install our short robot arms. We can go, I think it's fine. 1, 2, 3, just to keep even distribution of all those resources. Yep. And then we'll have the cables come over like so, because I don't really care. Okay. So with the resources routed correctly, we have precious metals coming down this way, Tillium ore going up this way. Now what we want to do is we have a couple of things. Fabricators are the big thing. Fabricators need to be over here, and I'm going to have them, I think, spread them out just a little bit. Maybe if I go from up here, or do I think I leave a space for the routing of the other materials. I think I'll leave a space. So we're going to leave a space here and here. Yeah, that looks good. Okay, leaving a space here and here, we can now route our arms. So the short robot arm is going to bring the precious metals in, and we'll go schematic mode here. Yep. Precious metals in from there and there, with our regular robot arms grabbing the Tillium crystals here and here. Okay. And hook it up to power. Okay. So all of those things are in. That's going to get us to our fabrication, which is going to be responsible for creating our quantum wafers. Okay, so this one's going to make quantum wafers here and here. All right, that should take care of what we need to get the quantum wafers going, and indeed they begin producing those right away. Okay, so as we begin to make these, we'll start consuming crystals, which will force us to start producing more, and then it will start taking this ore out of here so that there's more room for the rest of these materials. Okay, if I wanted to speed up that process right now, I could just do that, and in which case then at least some of these resources can be on this belt, and we can start seeing more get pulled off and over into there right now. Okay. Hey, there's the jumper ship. Now the jumper ship is going to have another job too, because once these wafers are done, the next stage in this process is to bring us refined Metreon into chemical labs. So we're going to have 2 chemical labs, and I can place these pretty much right next to this, I guess. Yeah, one. Do I want to put you? Yeah, there. 1, 2, I believe is where I want you. Is it 1 for each machine? Am I doing it that way? I think so. How many wafers is it? It's 4 wafers. Nope. It's 1 wafer for 1 processor. Okay. So 1 for each machine is pretty good, I guess. And we'll go with the short robot arms is fine. And it doesn't really matter where they're brought in at. So we'll just gonna go do something like that. Okay. Again, with the cabling, just make sure everything's got power. Okay. So these are going to be responsible for making our quantum processors. These are wafers and then 100 refined Metreon to make a processor. So quantum processors. Okay. Now with those hooked up, we need the Metreon in. So I'm going to go in and delete some storage space here. Not that I have, I need to replace it with something. So there we go. And we're going to add a huge tank, because I have a bunch of them. We're going to add a huge tank right here. Then I'm going to add a couple of loaders here and here. All right. And these loaders are just responsible for loading the refined Metreon into this system. So what we'll do is we'll have our pipes routed like so. And then this pipe will come all the way over across here. And we're going to bring it up from there. Okay. So that's going to be our refined Metreon supply into this. But in order to get the refined Metreon, we need it brought over here. In order to do that, well, I'm going to use my interstellar logistics. Now, can I just buy it? I don't know. Probably not. No. Can't just buy it. Looks like I can't. Anyway, so I have to make it, right? And that's no big deal. So we're going to take the interstellar logistics. I'm going to come over to Jumper. Jumper's already configured to do some things. He's going to transfer refined Metreon from the tank right there. Okay. But it now needs to make sure that it's dropping off the stuff. So now we need a transfer to. All right. So we're going to transfer to bad the refined Metreon, and all but 0 is fine. So now it will transfer all of the refined Metreon to bad as well. Right. You can see it has a bunch right here. So I think I might interrupt its path or interrupt its job, or not. I have other things I can route while it's doing it, so maybe I don't have to bother with it. But we can see these begin to produce as soon as bad brings, as soon as the jumper brings the refined Metreon here, we'll begin to see that happen. So we're going to unload and unload refined Metreon. All right, these are both set to unload there, and then we can set up storage once more. Just to kind of space this out a little bit, we can set up storage for refined Metreon to be like right in front of this. So we'll store all the refined Metreon right there. And they can move that other stuff out of the way of storage in a bit. Okay, so the next thing, I think from this point, I kind of want a buffer storage of some kind, right? Probably a good idea to have some kind of buffer storage here. So why don't we add a storage tank? And I can nestle that like right in here, I think, is pretty good for space efficiency's sake. I can put it like right here. That's not bad. And then we can get our tracks out, and we can say, like, maybe from here, we bring this down, and then we bring it over, you know, and we could say that from here, and then it's going to come out on that side there. All right. So the robot arm will bring it in from this side, and we'll take it out from this side. All right. So it gives us a little storage tank in here, or box, I guess, storage box for our quantum processors. Yes, that's where those will go. All right, and then we'll hook them up to power as well. So all of these are pretty much set up now. Short robot arms need to be installed, I guess. We'll go yeah, there and there. So that gets us all the way to the quantum processor. All right, so quantum processor is done. Now we need those quantum processors to go into an assembly table to create the quantum compute grid. But at this point, we're also missing another ingredient, which is the empty compute grid. And that brings us to copper. Titanium crystals and copper ingots. Okay, so bringing copper over here and fabricators and stuff over here, I'm kind of thinking maybe the fabrication could be in this area, and then I could send the other resources this way, because I don't have a whole lot of room here. But I'm also contemplating the idea here of having the final product made here, because it's closer to the door, right? I mean, if I could have the final product made here, the only reason I was going to make the final product here was because I have two of my resources are right here. But the way I see it is, the way I'm looking at it anyway, is that if I have to bring the copper all the way over here, I could just bring the other stuff over here too. It just takes 2 tracks. And so I'm thinking maybe these 2 tracks could meet up here, run straight down this area, and then run straight through here. So I could route these resources through this way is what I was kind of thinking about. Yeah, it's a little track heavy, isn't it? Go ahead and install those and get those ready to go too. So if Jumper would kindly make its way over to me again, which it should be getting pretty close to doing. It's over at the tank now, right? The tank's over back in the storm. In case you forgot, the tank also has an automated route. It's not just sitting here doing nothing. It also has a route. It spends 1 hour in this storm, and then it moves itself over to the other system where Metreon gas can be made. And then it spends its time over there too. And so at the moment, what it's doing is it's unloading Metreon gas. That's why we're not full here. The Metreon gas is being unloaded here into this area. Once this area is full, it stops unloading it, of course. But at the moment, these tanks are getting emptier because we're not sitting in a place where this can happen, right? But the tank is going to sit around and wait for 60 minutes in each location. And I think actually what I could do is, this is 40, right? We're in 40 right now. Yeah. So I think what I probably could do with this automated route is I could make this to where we don't wait quite as long. Maybe we make 30 minutes here, like we don't wait nearly as long there, because we're going to need Metreon gas more than we're needing the other stuff anyway. And we're already really loaded up on the other stuff. So why don't I tell this thing to go ahead and travel, which is what it's doing right now. All right, and then at this point, we got the Metreon gas installed, or delivered, I mean. And so we just need to unload it, and they're not doing that. Oh, sorry, not unload, it's load. Yes, load, of course. Load. Yes, we are loading it into this. We're not unloading it from the storage area. That doesn't make any sense. So yes, it's going this way, and then now these guys are already making what they need. There it goes. Metal ingots and stuff are in our way. That's really unfortunate that those got in there. Now I don't have any way of getting them off either. I have no way of getting rid of them because this game has pretty poor implementation of a UI. I think pretty much everybody knows this. The UI, most of the UI in the introversions games is, oh, great. You didn't even move them yet. Hang on. Can you guys move this stuff, please? Just get out of here. Here's a full cargo area for you to unload things in. I'm going to have you move this stuff later. Go ahead. No? Still not going to? Here. Move it over here then. Just get that stuff out of the way. No prioritization. No way to tab through different things to select things that are underneath it. Like, they just didn't think of any user experience stuff at all for this game. And it's, there's not even splitters. You have put a factory in, but there's a splitter. There's just not smart splitters. There's no way to have a splitter unit split things out. Instead, we get smart arms. And then the smart arms take up an enormous amount of space because they're not one tile over, they're 2 in both directions, and it's kind of sucky. Did they move this stuff yet? I see the tracks, but I don't see whether they moved the actual resources that were in the way or not. Hang on. Please move this stuff out of the way. There we go. Okay, I want to install the track once more. Right here, please. There we go. Okay. And it actually doesn't even need to be that far over because the way this is. So I can actually save myself some track units just by doing that. Yeah, and this is full now. So, yeah. Okay. So now we have these. And these wafers need to meet up with the other things. So I think maybe we'll get the copper. This copper's already going to be filtered through here, right? We already have copper here. Let's just continue with what we had, right? So we'll bring the copper this way is what we're going to do. So for that, we're going to have you be about, oh, I don't know. Let's say we could just do something like this, I suppose. Short arm here to grab it. That's fine. Just have to hook it up to power. All right, short arm to grab it, puts it on this, and then we have the copper gets sent down here. Okay, so with the copper coming down this way, we get fabricators. And I think maybe the fabricators, they need to meet up with Tilium ore as well, not just copper, right? The fabricators do. So that's where this supply is being extended past these arms. So what we want is take the track. We want the track to come out about that far. And then we're going to have another arm. Just a regular robot arm. Yep. Another arm. Grab it from there and bring it over here. And I think this won't mesh. I think this won't interfere with each other. I'm hoping anyway. You're not going to... Yeah, I think that's okay. I think it's going to be okay. So this track is going to bring these resources this direction. So now we've got the Tilium ore here and the copper here. Let's get the fabricators going, right? And so I think we'll start fabrication on this side. So if I put a fabricator, and I want space to move things through here. So I'm going to leave a gap here and then one more there, and we're going to put fabricators here. I think that's how I want to do that. Yeah. So I'm thinking how this is spaced out. 1, 2. I think that's how it's spaced out. No, it needs to go up 1. I think. Looking. Perhaps. I'm trying to think. Space efficiency here is kind of in questions for me, right? So I'm thinking instead, I'm going to go here. Like this instead. Because I want to leave this open a little bit more. So I think we'll go like this instead. So now the tracks can go like this. Yeah, like that. And then these will go over and then like that. And then we get our arms that will bring them into each of these units. 1, 2, 3, 4. But then the output. Then we don't have output. So organizing them this way doesn't work because of the output requirement. So I'm going to have to go back to my original plan. The fabricators have got to be on this side. And there's not enough room for them. So I'm going to have to go out. Unfortunately, I have to go this far out. I didn't want to, but I'm going to have to. Yeah, it needs to be about here. Okay. And then let's put the schematic mode in. So we need the copper is going to go this way to here. And then the Tilium crystals go here. But actually looks like I need to move one more down. Damn. Yep, I need to go one more down even. That sucks. Yep. 1, 2. It's the way it is. Make it happen. All right. So robot arms grab the copper from here. Yep, there and there. And then our short robot arms can grab the other resource from here and here. And now we have the Tilium ore and the copper being delivered to fabricators. All right. Like that. Everything's connected to power. Okay, schematics. So you are creating our empty compute grids. Yes, empty compute grids. There and there. Okay. Now the empty compute grids will then go, the next step in the process, right? They go with the quantum processors to assembly tables to create quantum compute grids. Now we're finally ready to put that with the other two resources into an assembly table for the warp alignment computer. So we've got all of these things. And so we need the assembly tables now. And again, we have all these processors over here. I think I'm going to put them along the wall. Is kind of where I should be here on this. But then I don't have an output place. I need a place to output. Yeah, I need a place to output. So that doesn't work. So in that case, we're going to go like this. We'll leave a little bit of a space. And we'll go 1, 2. Trying to see if that's ideal or not. I mean, if I actually be able to get away with it being all the way against the wall on this side. I think I can. I actually can do it on this side too. It leaves me an extra space. Yes, let's do it. Let's do it here. 1, 2. That should be enough space to have this work. Output into a storage and then back into the final production line here. And so if I'm going to do the final production line there, then these need to work over to this side. And this is where all of this becomes no longer storage space, which is very difficult to do because there's just not enough space for everything. But we're going to make it work. More cargo space is here now for everybody. And then we can eventually get all this stuff off the ship. Would be nice if I could just, if I can just say, hey, how about we just not have this many robot arms and tracks and all these things. But I have been making tracks, but I'm also using a lot of track right now. So I think I'm actually going to pause. Nah, I only have 20 something track. I think maybe it's not time to pause that yet. Because I do need some more tracks. All right, so from there, we want the quantum processors to come across this way and be loaded. So we'll have this go like so. Right to there is good. And then here, we're going to have you come off of this. Nope. We're going to have you come off of... It's got to go the other way. It's got to go here. Yep. And I guess I could just do this just to make it cool and all on that side. Yeah, something like that would work. And then I could just have it finalize here. Let's make that not storage anymore. Okay, and then we're looking at short robot arms again. 1, 2, no big deal. Make sure it's on power once more. Okay, and now these can be offloaded onto the track, and they are now ready to be delivered over here. Now, there's no buffer storage for these two resources, and like there is for the lenses, there is for the quantum processors, but there's no buffer for the empty compute units. My logic for that, in case anyone's curious, is the quantum processors require 4 of them for the assembly table, but we only need 1 empty compute unit. So my idea is we're using a lot less compute units and our compute grids, and then therefore we don't need a buffer storage for them. But since we're using so many quantum processors, I want to be able to make a lot of them in advance. Kind of where my idea is behind that. Also, this takes 10 megawatts to produce it. So there's like 2 entire solar panels right now are basically dedicated to just these 2 things. We might find our power consumption is starting to exceed what we can use. Not yet, though. Demand is actually very low comparison, but I think if everything was running nonstop, which it currently isn't. Oh, look at this. Is there... Let me know in the comments if you've figured out a way to do this, because this is really annoying me, right, in this game. There does not seem to be a way to have some kind of a universal filter for things. And what I mean by universal filter is like a way to take multiple items off of the belt without having like a ridiculous amount of arms. Okay. So for example, I want the ability, which I don't have, to say, take all but this, right? I don't have that. So it's either all or nothing, right? And so that's the problem, is because I would love to say, take everything except the 3 ores that I am making. And that way everything can be filtered out of this. By the time it gets here, the only thing that's there in this cycle is the 4 ore, whatever, right? But see, now we don't have that ability. There's no everything but. And so I would need like 100 arms like 100 smart arms to pull everything off of there. I just wish there was a way to do that, or to say, hey, you know, drone bays when we're trading, can I just say, hey, you know, maybe Metreon doesn't ever go out with a drone. Maybe it only gets loaded out by the docking bay. None of these smart decisions, none of these abilities are built into this game, and that's the part that is a bit annoying. You go out there and say that for sure. So, quantum computer grid, empty grids, quantum processors. That's what's going to be made there, and same thing here, like so. So now these things get loaded up, provided, of course, we have arms to do that. So let's go ahead and grab our short robot arms, and we will go ahead and make that happen here and here. And then our regular robot arms will grab it from here and here. Once again, power to our arms. And everything should work itself out. There we go. Everything should work itself out. We're now creating them. Now from here, we want to bring them to a storage. And so I would put a track here and send them to a storage facility. In this case, I'm just going to bring it up like this. And now I'm out of arms. See, so it is a good idea to have these. But now that I'm out of arms, we can put this storage. I guess I can just place it right here. I was going to use a little more space on this side, but I'm kind of thinking I don't need to. I want to, though. Yeah, I'm gonna go all the way over here. Let's see if there's any more tracks to buy here. There's 4 tracks to buy. Well, 4 is not enough, but make quantum compute grid. Yes, quantum compute grid. Quantum compute grid. There we go. All right, so this is where this will end up being stored so that they can continue to make it. Okay. And then we have 5 tracks now because they're doing really well. Let's bring it up and then over one more time. That will be enough, actually, because our regular robot arm will do the rest from there. Actually, can save a track and do it like this. But I want this in line. Yeah, I want it in line. Come on. Okay. Yeah, and then we need our robot arms. So short robot arm here, go like that and like that. We have now automated this entire process all the way up to the final steps, right? Everything up to the warp alignment computer is now automated. So, of course, this is the last step, and that's to get these 2 resources over here, too. There's 3 areas, and it's 1 for 1 on everything to make a warp alignment computer, and the Stargate requires 100 of them. At least for now, 100 of them. So, assembly tables, I want to get those over here, which, of course, means I need this to stop being cargo space. Gosh, I really just... You know what? Let's put a bunch of stuff over here. We'll just stuff some stuff in the back over here. We can stuff some stuff over here too, okay? Just move stuff out of thy way, okay? And it looks to me like I actually won't be using this space here. However, well, now hang on a moment. Now, because I feel like I want... So I'm either bringing 2 resources over here, or I'm bringing 1 resource over there. But that resource is going to end up getting unloaded over here anyway. So, and if I leave this open, then I have all this space to build phase 10. Whatever phase 10 ends up being. Without knowing what phase 10 is, I don't know whether or not the quantum compute units should be brought over here or not. So without knowing, without knowing, you can't know. So yeah, it seems pretty obvious when you say it like that. Yeah. So let's for now, we're just gonna go ahead and flood this area with storage because I will end up bringing this stuff over there instead. So let's clear this stuff out, get this stuff out of the way. I'll add storage right here too because it won't be in the way technically from what I'm doing. And then now I just need more tracks, and I need a lot more of them. And I don't have any of them, and I don't have the ability to buy any more of them. And I'm making them, but just not fast enough. But maybe once these guys are done moving everything else around, they can focus on making tracks a bit more. Yeah? Yeah. I guess, but in the meantime, though, I mean, there's really no reason to delay, I suppose, this process. So in the meantime, I could just place an assembly table here, let's say both of these other resources, right, that are coming from this side, they're going to be loaded on this side as well. So these things will be loaded on one side, and then these things get loaded on the other. And then the final product goes into a storage, let's say that's here. So we could say that with schematic mode here, we could say that the tracks are going to run right alongside the border of the storage, of these storages. And so we would want our unit to be about here, I guess. Yes. Here. 1, 2. Not that we'd actually be able to make that many, but we can do that anyway. And that way these guys can get started in making them for the Stargate project while we're, you know, waiting around for them to make tracks too. So this is a warp alignment computer recipe. Warp alignment computer recipe. And then we just simply connect it to power like so. So they'll do this manually now, but once I get enough tracks made, I can then start automating that process even further. Let's go ahead and get a storage crate. Yet another storage crate. We can buy all of them. Yep, give me all of these storage crates, and then we will have that placed here. This is where it will be in the end. And then when we go to unload it for the Stargate project to deliver it, it'll just be right here, and they can pretty quick to access it there. Yeah. Okay. So we're making warp alignment computers now. And there we go. Everything's good. So I'm going to wait until they have made me more track, which seems to be a pretty low priority at the moment. Maybe I can bring more crew on board. You know what? Screw it. Let's bring 13 more people on board this ship. And then we can have a lot more people doing things. Hopefully not everybody is idle. There we go. I'm hoping to see some people go to work here on making tracks any minute now. Pretty please. Make the track. No? Not interested, eh? Okay. Well, tell you what, we're going to do this then. Maybe this will spur some creativity out of you. We'll go like this. See what you think about this. Or they won't. There we go. Now, once it powers up, it'll pull it off of there, and then you can start making it. There you go, yeah. And hopefully they will move this to storage. Maybe that's why they're not doing it, because there's no actual storage for tracks. Maybe that's why. Maybe I need to put storage and then have, like, track storage or something, which track storage doesn't exist, because it's just the generic equipment that gets stored, not tracks. So, yikes. There, then. And then I guess we'll put some tracks up here because I'm going to end up using it anyway. So we'll put some here, I guess. All right, so we're back in an asteroid field with a whole bunch of copper and stuff so I can get more materials for it. And turns out we ended up basically making enough of these warp alignment computers to pretty much enough of them to satisfy the requirements before I was even able to automate it fully. So like, yeah, I could have just taken these and brought them over here instead of having both of these resources right over here. Probably would have been done by now and everything would be good. But then this process would be being done over here. And I don't know. I think I liked it better with like the delivery being closer to the door. But we'll see what the next, iteration is. We'll see what the next task is. And if it's, having to make a whole bunch more of these and then having to make something else from them as an input, if that's the case, then maybe I will redo this, and it's not a huge deal. I just, it just takes time to move things around. I got a lot of crew on this now, so they actually move things around pretty fast at this point. So we have all these here, and I'm just going to bring this track over to this point there, and then this one is moving this way. So we're getting very close. These two resources are routed around to where they end up over here. And then the final product ends up right here. And so I can just take my robot arm. We'll do a short one here, I suppose. And that will bring it into storage. And then from this is our inputs. This is our output here. So this is an output there and there. And then our inputs are actually here and here. But I am missing one arm for that. And I could have it made, or I could just use a short robot arm and then just get my one last piece of track that they're going to make here in a second, and just use that instead. I think I'll just use that instead because I don't really care to mess with it right now. So we'll just get that going like that. There we go. And then I'll just pick one extra piece of track right there. And now that whole thing is automated. And then I just keep moving the track in this direction, trying to get it to where we can use these as an input into these two things here. So when Bad comes back, actually should have been here already. And maybe I'll just move this ship. Jumper's getting low on fuel, which is interesting. It should be picking up fuel as a part of its route from the tank. You are not. You are not picking up fuel. Interesting. Well, then we'll do this then. Since you guys are all about that auto trade, right? We'll do this then. We'll say fuel. Buy if you're below this many. I don't know. I have infinite money at this point, so it's fine. Whatever. Look, he'll buy fuel now because it needs it. Okay. See, the delivery is very fast because they're all right there, right? And that makes it very nice and very fast. So I like that a lot. That's good. So I've delivered 70 of them, and you see we're making them way fast now. So it's all good. We can actually go ahead and hit the button again if we want to. Now the charged crystals, they should have been getting made this whole time, but they haven't been. So I have to take a look at that because I've been making the charged crystals. All right, they're right over here. And I have been making them. There are 36 in storage here, but for whatever reason, they are not being delivered to Jumper. And Jumper's been told to transfer the empty crystals until there are 0 on board. That's probably why. So why don't we say until there are 30 on board? That'll probably make a big difference, wouldn't it? Let's do that instead. So they'll go ahead and do that, and then we will deliver phase 9, and then we will see what is in store for us for phase 10, the final phase. I suspect I'll probably redo this, but I kind of like it, the long tracks, sort of moving resources down. It would be cooler if they were, consistently flowing and everything was consistently moving. Something like this, always seeing motion is pretty cool, but it's okay. I like it. When they do move, it looks cooler than this single little unit here, because this isn't very high volume anyway, so sending this all the way over somewhere else, I don't know about that, but it's okay. I'm gonna let it run for a little while, get all these things produced, and then when we come back, we'll have it's like I need to wait for one more, and then I can hit the full order. There we go. So I'll bring you guys back when we have all the charged crystals done. Okay. All right, I've been going on for a little while here, and I think we're pretty much good to go here. I'm gonna go to Jumper really quick, and we can see that it's in range of trade. And the Stargate now only has just a few more charged crystals left to deliver here. So we're going to go ahead and deliver these. And phase 9 should be completed as soon as this delivery is done. There we go. Stargate progress is completed. Phase 9 is done. And now we're on to phase 10. And phase 10 still has a question mark. So let's see. Research. Don't see anything yet. So probably need to be called. So I will await being hailed, I suppose, for this final stage. As far as research goes, we can maybe start drone intelligence. Let's try that. I still don't have drone intelligence. All this work with drones, I still don't have drone intelligence. Andromeda. Captain, preparations have concluded for the final Stargate test. We are ready to send a ship to the Andromeda Galaxy. Please call us when you are ready. Ooh. So the last stage is just going? Is that how it works? Oh, I feel like Jumper should be the one to go. Actually, I feel like Procyon Cruiser should be the one to go, only because it's the only ship I have that has like everything it needs completely for defense and survival. So maybe we'll call the representative with Procyon Cruiser. The materials you provided to us have been fitted to the Stargate. It is fully functional and ready to test. Oh boy, this is a monumental moment. This is a monumental moment in the history of our species. If this test is successful, the Andromeda Project will be the first entity to send mankind to another galaxy. Captain, you will need to begin the test and provide power to the entire journey so that our test ship can reach the Andromeda Galaxy. This will require a significant amount of energy, more than what's needed to travel between sectors. Please begin the test when you are ready. Okay, so how much power is needed, I wonder? Well, let's take a look. Jumper is going to not jump. We're going to take... Well, okay. All right, Jumper. Hang on a bit now. I didn't stop it in time. Let's go ahead and pause it really quick here. Let's stop this madness. Interstellar logistics, pause for a moment, please. There we go. And we are now sitting here. So we've got 6 of these suckers. And we got a whole bunch of these power transmitters going. And I think we can probably just power the ship all the way through, right? So let's take a look. Procyon Cruiser, start test. Where are you currently sitting? You're not there. Let's make sure you are at the Stargate. Not sure if I actually need to be located physically there, but let's go ahead and do it anyway. All right, start test. It is 2,537 kilolight years. Is that what that is? Oh, hang on. Stargate 1,400 megawatts out of 1,500 megawatts supplied. Ah, okay. So we're 100 megawatts short of what we need. Okay. Well, we can add some new things then, I suppose. Yeah. Let's see. So, am I gonna need to make more of these energy transmitters? I don't think I have any, but energy transmitters. I might have to make a few more energy transmitters, or I can go over to bad. I mean, we can make them over here, I think. So we'll just say that I want energy transmitters again. Let's go ahead and do that. Energy transmitters. We'll just go ahead and have this bench make the energy transmitters, and then we can install them over here, let's say. So we don't have any on board this. I think I sold all the spares. Procyon Cruiser, do you have any energy? No, we don't have any here either. So I think I sold all the spares, and it's fine. We'll just make more at bad. It has all the resources required to do that. It's very good at it. It's what I've been doing this whole time, is just making things like that. So should be good. This little cycle here is working okay, but it's full of copper now. And, we're just kind of waiting for being able to make more things. I really didn't need to set this whole big thing up, right? Just let the guys do it, and probably could have saved myself some headache there. But, I wanted to make sure the whole process all the way through was done, and so it is. Jumper, I think we're going to have you go on over to... actually, you know what? Yeah, let's have you go to bad. But before you do that, let's buy another fusion reactor. And you know what? I think we'll just install it right in here, We'll just install another fusion reactor kind of in here. Maybe we'll set it... Doesn't really line up, but, it's fine. We'll just set it maybe right next to it. Like something like that is good. So we'll install another one, and, it'll give us the power that we require. Maybe that's all I need to do. Maybe I just do that. I feel like it's probably this, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 transmitters here. So I feel like it might be a shortage of transmission as opposed to a shortage of production with the fusion reactor. So, all right. So I've added a couple of energy transmitters right here on bad. I don't know if I need 2 of them. It does look like I'm only short by 100 megawatts, but I went ahead and added 2 anyway. And we'll see what that does. So we can start the test now. We'll say start test. And there we go. Yeah. So it's starting to count down. Looks like we got enough power going through there. Now Jumper has all of these transmitters transmitting 100 megawatt each. There we go. All of that's happening. It looks like our batteries are holding solid there too. Barely enough power there, but we are holding steady. And then bad, fully powered by solar panels. Not fully. These two do exist. These two generators do exist, I suppose. But yeah, there we go. So we are seeing this whole Stargate thing. Look at that. It's like there's like a graphic going across the screen there. Interesting. So we're not actually traveling yet. It's just whether or not it can get there or not. Yeah. And that's it. I wish there was some kind of like profound music or sound or something that went with this. I feel like the amount of time that's invested in it, we should have some kind of sound, but it's introversion, man. All right. They just don't do that kind of stuff. All right. You got Prison Architect. It was like basically bare of music aside from riots. That's about it. There we go. Stargate completed. Andromeda reached. There we go. Payment for sending the test ship. Oh, we already sent a test ship then. None of our ships go. It's just a different ship. That's fair, I guess. After all the work I did, why would I want to be stranded over there if something went wrong? Okay, so that's it. I think the Stargate project is completed. It says ready for jump now. And so I suppose it's time to just do that, yeah? Captain, the Stargate has received a signal from the Andromeda Galaxy. The test ship made it, and the test was complete and a total success. This is a historic moment for all of mankind. I couldn't have done it without you, Captain. Oh, of course not. Your industrial expertise and dedication to the project have been invaluable. Thank you, Captain, for your contribution. Will not be forgotten. Goodbye for now. Await further instructions, is what it says. Okay. What other further instructions would there be other than jump to Andromeda? Well, Commander Harkin's calling now. Captain, there are reports that the Andromeda Project are withholding access to the Stargate from any ships that aren't their own. My sensors are detecting major fleet movements towards the Stargate. It looks like the Andromeda Project is aiming to secure their control over it. This is concerning. Be careful. I don't like the look of this. So, are we going to have to fight? Do I need to create some military vessels at this point? Am I going to have to build more I have 43 million. I could build a whole bunch of them. I could build like 6 more of these things, 7 more of these things completely. A few more of these things here too, maybe. Yeah, I think a whole bunch of little ships might be better than one giant one. You know, just spread the damage out, spread the DPS out while also having an enormous amount of guns hitting him from all directions. Hello, Captain. The newly completed Stargate has put the Andromeda Project in a powerful position to control the flow of resources and people between the galaxy and the Andromeda Galaxy. The next stage of the project has begun. Our fleet has obtained full control over the Stargate. We are currently in the process of moving our workforce into the new galaxy. We will bring prosperity to all of those who work with us. Speak to you soon, Captain. We may have some more work for you in the future. Oh, good. So they're just kind of like, yeah, I did all that so that they could control. I mean, people are just greedy. Yeah, all right. So we may have a war on our hands to maybe liberate the Andromeda Galaxy from the Andromeda Project using a giant military vessel, which I will name Andromeda just to do so. I don't know. Anyway, that is going to do it for this video today. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. The Stargate project is completed. I thought that would be the end of it, but it looks like there's still one more thing. Come back and see what that is next time. Bye-bye.